G'day everyone. Today we're going to take a look at these aftermarket headlights for the Toyota Hilux. I've replaced the OEM ones with these, and we'll go through how to take them out and how to fit these as well. The OEM ones were just fine. They're a bit weathered. They did leak a bit of dust and moisture, and they'd been shaken to death for the last 20 years. So I see this as a bit of an upgrade, and we also get daytime running lights. We'll go through how I wired them up and a couple of different wiring alternatives, and we'll check out the quality and performance of these as well. Now, opinions are divided on this particular headlight in the Hilux. I've seen plenty out there on the road, but people seem divided on the internet whether they're worth the money and if they're any good over the OEM. So I bought them today so we can check them out and have a look for yourself. Now, I bought these from DMS Engineering for about $500 for the pair. Just be careful, if you're looking for cheaper alternatives on eBay, you're probably going to get a cheaper and less quality light, even though it looks the same. Getting from a reputable supplier is always a good idea. These fit pretty well and they're working well so far. Of course, if you're getting an N70 pair like I've got here, the facelift model after 2011, make sure you get the right shape. 2005 to 2011 look like this, and 2011 through to 2015 is a different shape for the same model of Hilux. The lights themselves offer a daytime running light strip along the bottom with the Angel halos. We get two of those, and a projector low beam, and your standard high beam bulb is in there as well. They'll plug straight into the standard H4 socket of the car. We just got to be careful if you have an early model Hilux, your indicators won't be amber. The later ones had an amber after about 2009. The early ones had an amber lens, so you need to get an amber globe for that. That's the only extra bit you'll need to buy if you have an early model, is to get rid of that clear indicator and get yourself an amber bulb. The rest will bolt straight in. So let's get started and we'll go through how to fit them. Quick comparison here of the OEM low beam versus the DMS low beam with them projector bulbs. We do get a very defined line of light. There's a high beam with the new lights as well, and a quick side-by-side comparison. The amount of light coming out of the new lights I'm very happy with. Works perfectly well. I don't think I'm blinding anyone on the road. Of course, they are adjustable as well. To get them in, of course, we need to take the grille out first. We have two plastic clips here at the front. We just lift the centers out and they'll pull away from the front of the vehicle there. And we have a screw on either side. And along the bottom, there is a steel beam that connects the two headlights together. We do need to pry the bottom of the grille here, and there's a clip on either side to pull the grille forward in order to remove that bar that holds the two lights together. Without that, we can't remove the lights. There's also a bolt here at the bottom. They're all 10 mil or a Phillips head. There's one there, and there's one on the fender as well. There's also a sneaky little one just in the side here. Very hard to get to if you've got a bull bar. I pried up my filler there because that bolt was definitely going to snap. But of course, do not forget to get to that bolt. You will not get the headlight out if that bolt is still in place. Take the light out of the corner of the headlight assembly. That's the small Parker light. Take the indicator out, and of course we have to unplug the light as well. Here I am changing my bayonet clear for an amber one. We have two pins there. They're parallel with each other and 180 degrees apart. This is the back of the headlight assembly. You can see we've got a H4 connection here, and them two there, the white and black, are for daylight running lights. At the bottom there was a big plastic bracket that I had to remove in order to fit the light. It just got in the way, so I removed it. We do have to provide our own indicator assembly that comes obviously with the car. We're going to reuse the OEM indicator assembly with the amber light. And we do need to fit the light without the grille. With the grille in the way, I couldn't get the light in. We have to go in from the grille side and bring it towards the fender. The OEM has some dowels that are like a captive nut, and everything lined up perfectly well. The two ones at the top there, they clipped in to those dowels. The bolt came in from the side perfectly fine. We just need to mess it around a little bit just to get it to fit. It was a little bit tighter than the OEM because it's more bulky at the back of the housing. And of course, I took that cap off in order to fit it. Without that cap on, it's a lot easier to fit because you can sort of distort the back of the housing to get into that frame of the vehicle. And we can fit the cap a little bit later like that on the back of the high beam to keep all the dust and dirt out. They've got a big O-ring on them and they look pretty well sealed to me. Once we get it all in place, of course, we can fit all our connections. Here we are just testing with the Parker light just to make sure we have the correct earth and live. I ended up fitting those later with a Deutsch plug. Of course, don't forget to fit the bolt in the side as well. And the grill bolts, they were not actually drilled and tapped. You have to tap them in yourself with the screw, but they're very soft and they went in very easily. That's the two fitted there. Of course, everything works. We've got our amber indicators, and I pushed the grill back together as well. That's how they look at night. So I fitted the lights, the daytime running lights, to the Parker lights. Parker lights go on, daytime running lights go on. And of course you put your lights on, these daytime running lights are gonna stay on. I was worried they're a little bit bright, but they're not too bad at all. And I'm gonna keep running them like this. But there is an alternative way to wire these up if we want to use daytime running lights only at daytime. We'll have a quick look at that next. So I wired up my daytime running lights using a Deutsch plug like this into the original park light circuit. There's 2 wires and it works perfectly fine on left and right, and it's fused and can handle the current no problems at all. Plugging in the black wire into the white with black stripe and the white wire into the other wire, but I did have to cut off the receptacle in order to do this, which isn't ideal. Also, the daytime running lights will only come on if I switch the headlights to number 1. And if I switch the headlights to number 2, which is low beam, the daytime running lights stay on, and usually you'd expect them to dim or switch off. Now we can wire them up to do that, so let's have a quick look. So here I have wired them up just temporarily, so we have the daytime running lights on the park circuit, and when we put on the low beam, those daytime running lights will switch off so we don't dazzle any other drivers. As you can see there, they're still on with the high beam circuit, but on the low beam, they do switch off. I've used a H4 piggyback harness that we can buy from many auto shops for about 20 bucks. And instead of using the high beam circuit, I've tapped into the low beam circuit and attached it to a changeover relay. You can also use a normally closed relay as well. In this case here, we have a normally open relay. You can see there we use them for spotlights. And this one is a changeover relay, and we're going to use the normally closed circuit on 87A. The way it works is we have power going in to 30. In this case, it's coming from the park lights, but we can also use it from a fused ignition source if you want the lights to come on with the key. So you tap into 30 from the cigarette lighter or something else fused from the vehicle. In this case, we did use the park lights. 30 goes through to 87 normally. But then when we turn the low beam circuit on, which is attached to 85 and 86, it will power up the magnet and switch it over from 87A to 87, which doesn't go anywhere. And 87A will receive no power, switching off those daytime running lights. I just put it together quickly. I wouldn't really recommend to use crimp terminals or anything like that. If you can put it together more permanently, it's always a good idea when it comes to headlights. But that's the way I did it, and it worked pretty well to switch off those daytime running lights if they're a bit bright at night. Other than that, I am very happy with the lights. They're working very well. I've used them a lot in the rain and all sorts of other places. They are dustproof and waterproof, and they're working very well, and they look great on the car, way better than my old faded OEMs. Other than that, thank you very much for watching.